Starting. And there, we're live. So, welcome everyone. This is Unscripted and Unchained, and this is an episode of running a MYFAROG adventure called The Tradition. Now, I had done this previously with Matt, who's joining us today, and Matt has brought along a friend, and the friend is Eileen. Alina? Alina, sorry. And so Alina is going to be playing her character Luna, and Matt is playing his character Tyrannus, and then I'll be running an NPC named Arinda. So putting the adventure into context, the two female characters are running a kind of a rites of passage known as the Tradition. Now, it is slightly different than when Matt's character had run through it, in that his group was actually larger, so about 5 young male characters running through their rites of passage in order to become warriors of his tribe. And the female members of this particular clan, they still go out into the wilderness. They still, they are still, hunters and gatherers. Basically, this is a tribe that works on a traditional life stance, and they're all naturally raised amongst their, this region of Thule to be archers and horseback riders, riders of horses, and a focus on some other areas such as crafting or woodsmanship, basically. So their traditional ceremony is basically a challenge of those skills that the tribe believes are important skills for all of their members to have. And so everybody, when they reach that age of around 15 years of age, that's when they go out and they take upon this challenge. So since Matt's character had gone through this challenge about 2 months ago in game time, he's actually going to be the supervisor of this particular running of their tradition for the 2 female characters. So let me begin that it is just 4 days until the 2 young ladies begin their tradition, their ceremony. All right. They were all born, or they were both born during the autumn months of Iwalarash, I guess is how you pronounce it. That very tough with the Thulian names. Mm-hmm. And so now they have several days of preparing for their traditional ceremony or rites of passage. So during these days leading up to it, what you would do is the players are going to roll for their characters to see what type of events or anything leading up to that are actual things that they're doing for preparation. So it's an in-town foraging roll, basically. And so what you'll do is you will do a foraging check at a difficulty setting of 8, which is your target number, since you haven't played this before. So foraging skill is based on intelligence. So whatever her character's intelligence is, and then she would roll that, rolling 3d6 plus any modifiers, and then see how that compares to a difficulty setting of 8.
Yeah, and that'll be a -2 handicap. Since it's untrained.
Foraging is untrained, so yeah, so that would be a -2. So
Yeah, she
you
didn't have
have
any
her.
intelligence modifiers.
Yeah. So let's see here.
Yeah. Okay. With a 3d6.
Okay.
All right.
She
10.
got 10 -2, 8.
So 8. All right. All right. So she rolled an 8. So she made her roll a 10. All right. So she picked up an interesting bit of world or local news. So she found out while she was preparing for this, she might have been talking to, her family members, or, perhaps even talking to you. And she found out that, this was a tradition that goes back to the earliest days that the tribe was formed. And it had always been something that both young boys and young girls had participated in. So it's kind of, you know it's more egalitarian than potentially other Thulian tribes are. So that's something that's a little bit more unique about your particular tribe. And once again, your tribe is actually one of the larger tribes in Scudia, and so that might also be a result of that, is that the tribe has always kind of thrived and increased its size, over time, without any excessive aggression during that time period as well. So you guys have been kind of growing steady, and for a long time, and steady. All right. So any critical success? No. So that's really basically all that you pick up during the time frame. You can check to see if you're let's see. You can make a second roll. Same thing. So it's a second foraging roll, because that really was just like one of your 2 days prior to.
And will this also be
Same thing. Same difficulty setting, same. So it's a DD8 foraging.
Yeah. 13.
Well, yeah. So there's no way she's failing. So it's still an 11, even with the -2.
Okay, so
It'd be better on that one.
and well, the same result. It was still some news and everything like that. So that's basically all that she pretty much picked up. So what kind of equipment is she currently wearing?
She has just the standard clothing, because you said nobody had any armor.
Right. So she's heading out, and that's how you guys left anyway. So you're wearing the same, the regular, fur, fur armor, which is going to give you an AV of an armor value of 1. So that would be a -1 on any damage that you have coming in, and that includes, because now we're approaching into the winter time, so you're most likely wearing a full body, coverings that are, the heavy furs. So that means hat, hat, chest, arms and legs, and obviously boots. So you have a full body coverage, an armor value of -1 on any incoming damage. Okay, so the day comes along, and you know that you and Arinda are all set and ready to head out on the morning of the event. And she is, she is similarly, equipped as far as, weaponry is concerned, so you each have, you'll each have at your disposal a bow because you're going to be tested in that. She is specifically carrying blah, blah, blah. Let me find her character sheet and see. So she is, yeah, this is another character. So she's specifically carrying, she carries two hand axes. All right. And and this axe, a long sax knife, and and the bow. Well, you have the bow actually on your. You have the two, 2 or 3 bows, one for yourself and 2 for the participants. So we're going to continue. So in the morning, all right. So it is the morning of the ceremony. It is cold outside, but not bitterly so. All right. There's a light coating of snow on the ground. Thankfully, the wind is just a light breeze, and the sky is clear. A last minute check, you're traveling here, and another mouthful of food, and you're both ready to head on out. Now you're in a large village. The village is known as Riverwall. But despite its name, it doesn't have any walls. That's a Thulian, a traditional Thulian construct of their villages, is that they don't typically have walls. So they leave them kind of open to to passers. People can freely come in and out. Generally speaking, at least their traditional life stance. You'll notice as time goes on that changes, or that'll be a change that you see later on. All right, so the people relying on their cultural skills of riding and archery and stealth, its defenders prefer to be in open spaces and the freedom of movement. So that's why in your particular region, villages tend not to have walls, and that's because you rely on your skills, for defense. All right, I'll put this to the test. So you already, like I said, you already did your world checks, and you kind of know the purpose of this ceremony. So you know that this is, once you complete these tasks, you will be considered a full member, of the tribe and an adult, regardless of your character's actual age. Okay. Now what you could do is you're going to make a, and we keep track of the your successes, in your roles, because that does directly, directly contribute to your experience points at the end of the adventure. Yeah.
Go up in level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, anytime that you make a successful roll, it's going to generate experience points that at the end you can actually, if you've earned enough, you can actually spend them on increasing a skill or increasing an attribute, or well, that's generally how it's used, either skills or attributes.
Okay.
As well as each successful combat round that you survive.
Yeah, it's and I kind of, I don't let it get too clunky where, we're like, well, you did 57 correct, rolls. It's also an overall, there's a time amount that comes into play as well. So you get about 150 for every hour of play, regardless of what, skill checks or not were done. And then you'll get, I think it's typically around like 250 points just for completing the adventure. Something like 500 points if it was done, flawlessly or near flawlessly. An extra 50 points for role playing and such. So, I think we were averaging around 1,000 points per adventure, or 1,200 per adventure.
Probably go up to level 2.
Yeah. So yeah, you might be able to level up a skill, or a skill by the end, or possibly 2 by the end of an adventure. So anyway, at least initially, they become harder later on. All right, so you are going to make a social check, all right, which is charisma, and you need a DD7. So that's a difficulty 7.
And she has a +1 modifier.
Oh, so she has a +1 modifier. So
okay, so you gotta, your checks are generally going to be 96s.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
9, 12, 13.
All right. So
in this case, it is.
Yeah.
It's almost double the DD.
yeah. So that was just a check to see, how stoic you are going into this, and the two of you, yourself and the other girl, Arinda, you're both kind of prepared for this thing. You both seem to be, fairly confident, and you start heading out, and so that was another, kind of a test. Tyrannus is kind of your evaluator, so he's actually noticing these things. He's looking for these things. So he's testing your emotional, your emotional ability to go through these tasks, your skill level in going through these tasks, the quality of your successes, and the potential disastrous nature of your failures. And in the end, he kind of takes the aggregate of the entire experience, short of getting killed along the way. It's, as long as you're fairly consistently, somewhat competent, you should be able to get through this life, this rite of passage. It's very rare for anybody to, it's not rare for somebody to get killed in it, but it is rare for somebody to outright fail it just from,
incompetence.
Incompetence, right? Yeah, generally incompetence doesn't happen too often.
Keep rolling.
All right.
Rolling, you'll be fine.
Yeah. You keep on rolling well, you'll be fine. All right. So the tradition is a rite of passage ceremony that tests the character's abilities to move up in standing within the tribe. And so that's the other thing too, is that people in Thule, they have they're born into a particular standing, but in your tribe, you don't actually gain your family standing until you've completed this ceremony. So if you were born in a noble standing, a noble class family, you do not have the rights and privileges of a noble family until you've passed your rite of passage. So there are several like social rewards that go along with completing this. All right.
Okay.
So let's see. So the chief of the Almapian tribe is Kosovnos, a renowned adventurer in his youth and the wealth of all types of lore. So this is your tribal leader. All right, and he explains the basic process of the trials, and that you will be judged based on not just on what you've completed your tasks, but how well you performed them, which I already described to you. You assemble now at the far side of the village. All right, the center. There are 3. There's 3 horses. So for the 3 of you, since there's only 2 of you going, that's why they're only sending one person, Tyrannus, to actually monitor this event. All right. You'll each be provided with a bow and 20 arrows, a hand axe, and a long axe, if you didn't already have your own weapons. And the three of you then set out. All right. Well, so you ride along a well-traveled trail for about an hour, and off to your left there is a small clearing. There, your guide Tyrannus turns you into this clearing, and then he dismounts, and he tells you that you're going to do laps inside this circle. All right. It's kind of a rough circle, and you could see where others had, clearly, even with the light snow, you can tell that there's certainly a circle that's been, pounded out over the years of people doing this test. All right. So this is going to be a riding check, and a riding check, at least initially, is going to be a dexterity check, and it's a DD8.
She has a +1 in dexterity, and
right.
Since that's obviously a character roll for this tribe, she won't 3d6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, checks are almost always 3d6.
Oh, I thought he said.
Yeah. All skill checks are generally 3d6, and for the most part, their difficulty levels are generally on average of an 8. An 8 is considered like an average skill check. Anything lower than that is a fairly simple task, and anything much above a 12 is starting to get into the range of like nearly impossible for a regular person. And
modifiers.
Yeah, that's the one interesting thing that that makes MYFAROG different than a lot of other other role-playing games, is that MYFAROG, your character is generally not like a super hero. They're not as powerful as like a D&D character. So the way I like to describe characters in MYFAROG is that you're ordinary people expected to attempt extraordinary deeds, and so that's also why the death rate is a little bit higher in this game than in other role-playing games as well. So but like I said, it's not a very dangerous adventure, so you should be fine. All right, so so she could roll for the writing, and I'll roll for the
let's see, 11, 14, 15.
All right, so
as you can see, that's what you said earlier. Unless you come from Texas and Oklahoma, casinos, and so rolling dice is something we know about.
Yeah. All right, so on the on the first lap around, actually, Luna, you're starting to outpace Arinda, all right, on the first lap around. So you both start at the same time, but your writing result on the first lap was a little bit better than hers. All right, so now second lap around. All right. So, and I'm going to actually keep track of that. So Luna 1. And what was your second roll?
Second roll? Oh, were there 2 writing rolls?
Yeah, there's going to be 3 total.
Okay, so you're
3 laps. Yeah, so she's going to do a second writing roll now.
10.
10.
Oh, +1.
So that's an 11.
Yeah.
All right. So so you were a little bit ahead there. She actually took the lead on the second lap. All right. She actually rolled this a 17, which with her pluses is is really a 19. So she rolled a 19. So she actually took a step ahead of you, and but at least neither of you fell. And now it's the third lap, and then he, Tyrannus tells you that you're going to go down, down the western path as soon as you come out of here.
Hey, you're gonna
All
go
right.
down the western path as soon as you come out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you
Okay,
can make
one
your
more?
third writing check.
Okay.
yes.
Let's see. 8 plus 1, 9.
All right. So 9. All right. And well, at least again, you didn't fail, so you stayed on your horse. But she did make so Arinda definitely got to the second. She got to the branch off first, so she was ahead of the. She was ahead of that round, so she did the lap better. So challenge 1. Challenge 1 goes to Arinda. All right, so challenge 2 is coming up. So now you two are like you're racing down this pathway, and Tyrannus is following along, behind you. All right, and you start shooting ahead, and now you have to make you're going to make a perception check. And let's see, that was 1, 2,
no
3,
modifier
4.
And it will be another 46. Oh my.
Yeah.
Would you roll a 6?
Yeah.
All right, and let's see if she made her roll. She only rolled a 7, 8. Let's see, her perception. Perception is intelligence based. So yeah, she has no plus either. So yeah, she didn't make it either. All right, so you're gonna have to make a writing check.
And that'll be another 3d6 plus 1.
Yes, another 3d6 plus 1.
Let's see. 9.
That is exactly what you needed. Yeah, it was a little bit harder because you failed the perception check, but so just in the last moment, you notice that you spot some like heavy roots, and you either you get your horse to either go around them really quick or just hop over them, very quickly, so that they don't get tangled out, and both of you actually maintained your control of your horses, and you got past that next challenge. So or at least that point. So now you're still going down the pathway, and you need to make another perception check. That's an intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any.
5.
Yeah.
What's your roll of 5?
Yeah.
All right. So you're not doing very well at spotting your perception check. All right, so now you're going to have to make another writing ability.
Okay. And that's another.
And this is another DD9.
8, 9.
9.
All right, so just barely made it. For some reason, for whatever reason, like you just kind of like notice a log, laying across, and you're still moving pretty fast and everything, but you're you have to slow your horse down and have it like deliberately, jump over the log. Orinda has actually passed you by now, and because she had spotted that log and jumped over it much more smoothly than you had. And finally, the last thing. Now you're kind of accustomed to looking ahead, so so now you're kind of looking for things. And your next roll is a perception once again.
As your guide, I'm going to go ahead and give you a tip. I went ahead and moved the core book so you can kind of really let them get. There you go. That helped.
3 6s, dude.
Wow. All right. So, yeah.
+1, so 17.
All right. So you spot the, you definitely spot now these roots that are across the way. And because you are like looking now for them, you do spot them and you're like, okay, so now you're going to make your writing check.
I kind of noticed that you just had this short space, and I think the problem was it was just clunk.
Yeah. Oh no! I got too crazy.
Should we play it as it lies?
You could just roll it again.
Okay. Well, one of them survived, didn't it? Or did they all go?
They all went down.
Okay. Well, you can do it again.
Okay. Sorry, I'll be less crazy this time. It's still one everywhere.
Well,
B6, 10, 11.
Okay, and then we'll see what the.
It was 11.
Oh, plus.
Oh, +1.
Because it's a dexterity.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So 12.
So it's a 12. All right, so it's a 12. She actually didn't make her roll. So let's see.
Is that helping though, giving you some room to really make them roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like right here, and with it being on paper as well, that creates friction. So it's just going to go.
All right, so as you were approaching that last rooted area, and just as you get to, and you're getting your horse ready to jump, you notice that like immediately after that, there's like a dip and there's a stream right there, so you actually clear both the roots and, you get to the other side of the stream without hitting the water or obviously losing your own horse's footing. All right. Orinda has, a much harder time jumping over. And when she landed on the other side, she actually got jostled around, a bit, but she recovered. So she almost fell, all right, from her horse, but she managed not to. But her horse's back legs certainly did hit that, hit the water surface, and that was something that Tyrannus was looking for. So you won that. You won that particular round. All right, so having passed through several miles of the northern path, you arrive at another smaller clearing. You're also a slightly higher elevation, and the forest has grown denser at this point. It is here that your guide, Tyrannus, tells you that you're going to have to set up a campsite, and that you will have to forage for several different items. You're going to have to forage for a water source, for food, building material, and mistletoe, which is needed for the ceremony. All right, so now you're going to be using your foraging skill,
which is a -2 handicap, unfortunately.
Right, which is a -2 for you, and let's see. Let me just get if this character has foraging. Yes, this character does have foraging. And foraging is intelligence. So So finding mistletoe is a little bit more difficult than the other, than the other items. So you're going to actually make a total of. I got to keep track of your things. So that was.
You can really, by doing that, you can really.
Okay. Yes. Go.
Is she ready to go?
Yeah. So she could roll for. So this is foraging, intelligence, DD8, or mistletoe.
Damn.
15.
All right.
13. So 13.
All right. So 13, that is successful.
13s are not necessarily bad in this game.
All right. And let's see how she did. She. 6, 7. Nope, she did not on the first round. So that's Luna on the first round. All right, so foraging 2. So now you're both looking for wood for kindling. That's a DD6.
Your difficulty is 6.
Yeah.
What you're trying to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. 9 minus 2. 7.
Ah.
So,
All right, so you just got it. So, all right, so you both discovered kindling.
Nothing.
All right. So you're foraging around. I mean, it takes. I mean, the mistletoe took a little bit longer, to find, but you eventually found it. The kindling wood, you're in a deep forest. It's very easy to find. You just need some sticks and things like that. The water supply is next.
That's the same kind of.
Okay.
Uh, 11 minus 2, 9.
9. Yeah, that's good. All right. Yeah, so you both find a water supply, some edible berries and tubers. So you found some, food and water, and then finally for the building materials.
9, 11, 9.
All right. So overall, I mean, so you, Tyrannus, you're watching them going out and everything, and you're they're both bringing the stuff in, and when both of the girls come in, you notice that Arinda hasn't brought any mistletoe in yet. So she actually has to go out on another trip to try to get a hold of it. And she finally does, but it took her one extra time, interval, probably an additional half hour or so in order to come back with the mistletoe. So
She got all of hers on the first
yeah, she got all of hers on the first try. So Luna took that round. All right, so now it's a building it's building up your little encampment here. So you take the resources that the group provided and you begin to assemble a campfire in the center of the clearing and construct the tents. All right, so this is actually you, Tyrannus, so you have to roll. All right, so you have to roll for your character to do a it's either a crafting or a survival, whichever one that you actually have a higher ability in.
survival in here. Let's see it.
Survival. I mean, it could be. I mean, they're both. Crafting is intelligence. They're both intelligence based anyway. Survival is going to fall under. We're really under foraging. So if you have foraging skill, that would fall under survival as well.
I will do foraging because I'll only be dealing with a -2 handicap instead of a 5.
Right. So then you would use your foraging.
Oh dear. Let's see. 5, 6, 4.
4. Jesus. All right. So
I think I made all my good rolls making her character.
yeah. All right. So you're trying to show them how to, light up a fire. So, and you're not having a very good time at it. Luna, you can try to make the roll, or you can maybe even step in and try to help him out. Now, I know you trained crafting, right? I think she did. So,
no handicap.
So she's not going to have she'll have no handicap in using the crafting.
And she blew that shit away with
15.
All right. And all right. So this is survival challenge 1, and she made it, and she actually rolled a 10, 15. Actually, she rolled a 15 as well. So you both actually did a pretty good job, almost an equal job of setting up your campfire. So that's kind of even. So after having completed your tasks, the guide tells you that the next phase of your trials will begin in the morning. So now you have your your little encampment is built. You have your tent. You have your fire going. Your next task is called the Path of the Wolf. And just so you know that, like in your tribal area here, the wolf is the revered animal of your tribe, and so that's why this leg of your adventure is called the Path of the Wolf, because you're going to be hunting the next day, and for you're going to have your choice of what kind of game, how much game you're going to go for, what you're actually going to bring back. So it depends on how lucky you are. You're only going to be given a limited number of arrows in order to take out as much game as you can. So you can go small and bring back potentially up to 5, or you could go larger and bring back 1, but the one larger animal might be worth more than 3 or more smaller. So it's kind of a decision making process that you have to make. If on the other hand you spot something that is a a more dangerous animal, and you manage to take that down, regardless of size, that's going to count more so, more so than if you just kill smaller, non-aggressive animals.
Now, being that the wolf is kind of a totem of our tribe, we would be forbidden from hunting wolves, right?
Yes, they're you're trying not to. So the next morning you wake, you eat, you drink, you water that you've, and the berries and the tubers that you've collected from your day prior to foraging. You check out your horses, make sure everything is fine, and with them, and you're going to set out on foot. So you can leave this as your base camp, and you're going to start going in search of some animal trails. So you want to get off the trails that your tribesmen generally use, and you're actually foraging and searching for animal trails. So by the center of the pit, you have so you have your two bows there, and each quiver has just 5 arrows in it. So you're going out hunting with just 5 arrows. All right, and you have to make. Tyrannus will say this actually. He'll say to you that you have to make each shot count. If you hunt for small game, one arrow will be enough to kill, or should be enough to kill a small animal. If you try to take down a deer, you might need more than 1 arrow to take down a deer. If you try to take down a boar or a bear, he tells you he'll be back to recover your corpse later. All right, because you're clearly not, armed with 5 arrows. You're not going to take down a boar or a bear with 5 arrows unless you're exceptionally lucky. Say again?
What about her spear? Or is she not? Is she forbidden from using that?
No, you're just going with the I mean, you have your sax and you have your hand axe, but you're supposed to be going with your arrows. You're going with it's a test of archery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You could use other weapons if you were attacked by something, but for the actual task, this is strictly an archery check.
So, like if some Cometian bandits or some army.
Oh yeah. Then it does. That doesn't matter. If you're attacked by a bear, you can use whatever you have. If you're attacked by something, then you can switch to your standard weapon. But otherwise, for the purposes of hunting, you're hunting with just bow. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a foraging check. You're searching for animals.
Let's see. 11, 13 minus 2, 11.
All right. Okay, so you foraged, you rolled an 11. So that's... All right. Okay. All right, so you spot a trail. All right, and you can go for, so you see both tracks for either small or medium sized game. So you can choose to go for either, the small game where that your chances of getting at least a kill is a little bit higher, or you can go for the medium sized game.
We go for that medium game.
All right. So you're going to go for a, what you think is that deer tracks. Yeah. All right. So now you're going to make a tracking roll, and this is intelligence.
Is there any handicap? Oh, it's only a -2.
Yeah, tracking is only -2 if you're unchained.
-5 handicap.
Yeah.
Okay.
You seem to be able to get past those -2 handicaps. Yeah.
13, and it was -2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 11.
11.
And 11. Okay. All right. So you are now tracking. You're following along this path, and you see clear signs of of a deer passing, and that's what you're following. All right. So now what you need to do is I'm assuming you're going to try to move this, as quietly as you possibly can, so you can make a stealth check now, and this is a dexterity roll.
So she will have a +1 modifier on it. see. 10? Yes, 10.
10.
Okay. All right. So you are going to have a bonus. All right, for initiative. You're going to get a shot off at this at the deer before your initiative roll. So you're going to get one attack before it even gets to move. All right, and your target number, just so you know, so your target number, it's MI is a 13, but it's going to be lessened because you have surprise on it. All right, so you are going to manage to catch it a little bit off.
Okay. You got a 3 plus 2, so a 5.
All right, so your first shot, clearly misses it. All right, and so now so now it's initiative. So you can roll for initiative.
Yeah.
And it's a D6 plus your your dexterity bonus.
Oh, wait a minute. It was a D6 plus her dexterity bonus
for
for initiative. Okay.
For initiative, yeah.
Okay. Well, she's got a 7.
All right. So she rolled a 7. All right. So she's going to go first.
Yes, yeah, that. Another 5.
That was what? Your attack?
Yeah.
All right.
She needs to roll to hit, doesn't she?
Right?
Yeah, she needs to roll to hit.
Okay.
3d6 plus her dexterity bonus.
Yeah, because dexterity is with missile. Okay, 6, 7, 8.
8. Yeah, that's gonna miss. So she missed with the second.
Hey, when I just realized when she did that, this is my fault. When she did that first shot, I had her roll the damage roll without rolling the hit roll.
So that's what that roll was. All right, so
so she should have. She needs to roll a hit roll for that first.
All right, so do the hit roll for that first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have made it clearer that.
I should have known.
Yeah.
So let's see. The first one was a 6. The first one was an 8 as well.
Yeah, still not going to hit. Yeah, these things are pretty agile, and oh wait, that was an 8. Yeah, no, it still missed. It barely missed, but it still missed. All right, even with its flat-footed, caught it by surprise. So she fired 2 arrows, and this deer, clearly, jets off into the woods. So let's see, Luna, ammo, 5, now has 3. Rinda, she has 5. Let me see how she's doing. Okay. All right. So yeah, that deer jets off. All right, and So now you're going to do another foraging roll. Look for a different trail.
Let's see. 4 minus 2, 5.
Oh shit.
All right, so you don't pick up another trail. All right, go again. You try to pick up another trail.
That's better.
Yeah.
Let's see. A 9 minus 2, 7.
All right, so you pick up a small animal trail.
Yeah.
All right, and you might see like droppings or something, or like the foliage down by a tree seems to be kind of trued up and everything. So you start approaching forward, and so you're on the trail of a a small land animal. So it could be a like a raccoon. Let's say it's a raccoon. So yeah, so you're kind of traveling along, looking for this raccoon. So, and you can make a stealth roll.
And that's dexterity, so she'll have a +1.
Yeah, dexterity.
Not bad. 11.
All right, so that's good. So you kind of sneak up on it, and so that means that you'll get your first attack without initiative. You have 3 arrows left, by the way.
Yeah. So this time I'll instruct you correctly. This time you roll for hit first.
Yeah. Now you're going to try to hit it.
And that's dexterity +1, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's dexterity +1.
And much better. A 10, 12, 13. Pretty sure.
All right. So 13. So yeah. So that's going to hit. So now you roll damage.
Was there any bonus for like the quality?
For damage, you're going to get a plus for your dexterity, because pluses on bows go directly from dexterity. So and then the quality of the hit was what you rolled total of 13.
Yeah.
So a 13 is it's 5 points above. So it's a good hit. So she's going to get an extra +2. These things only have 3 hit points. So she's going to kill it. She's going to kill it. So she kills a.
Yeah, she doesn't even roll.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't have to roll damage because it's going to kill. So she killed a small.
Yeah.
Small one. So Rinda.
I gotta have herself with the dude. She's making a comeback now.
She tracks.
Yeah.
She stealths. And all right, she had with 6. Wow, 17. that's like you're kind of watching both of them, you know, and or at least trying to. And Arinda tracks down a deer, and she just rolled a 17. Where the hell? Oh, here it is. That's a very good hit.
Would you like to just so she gets an understanding of how that's working?
So the way that works is that when you roll above, or if you roll above your target for a hit, that's where you get additional damage from. All right. Now with bows, you get additional damage from your dexterity bonus, but with melee weapons, you don't get an additional damage from your strength bonus. You just get, it's easier to hit with your strength bonus. So bows are actually a little bit more powerful in this game than melee, because you get the pluses on both ends. You get the plus to hit and the plus to damage, where melee doesn't get the plus to damage part of it. So like in Arinda's case here, she just rolled the 17. All right. Actually, plus she has +2 because she has a +2 dexterity bonus. So really, she rolled a 19. So a 19, and because she had a surprise, she only needed to roll an 8 to hit. So she was actually, you know, a perfect hit, which means she's going to, a perfect hit is +10 to damage. All right. So her one shot just took down a deer.
It was basically a headshot.
Damn.
Yeah, it was basically a headshot, or, you know, or a heart shot or something. I mean, she took it down with one shot. All right. So now it's the next search. You're going to keep on hunting until you're out of arrows. You know, so
Another
you know,
4 check.
yeah. So Luna, you probably even heard her like woohoo, you know, yelling off in the you know, the woodlands there. So you know that she just took down something.
Yeah.
So now your next round. So you're going to try to you know, try to pick up another trail. And the way this trail is working is it's like if you barely make the roll, you're finding small game. If you're hitting an 8, which is what you need, you now have your choice. You can go for small or medium.
Let's go for the small one this time.
Okay, so you're gonna go for gonna go for small this time. All right. So now same thing. So you're going to do a stealth check, and your stealth check on the smaller animals are a little bit easier than on the larger, more alert animals.
So 11, and she has a dexterity bonus 12.
All right, so a 12. So you made your dexterity. So you made your stealth check. So you were able to sneak up on this small game animal, and we'll save this time that it's a you know, it's a fairly large squirrel. And you see it up in the tree, and so you knock your arrow there, and you'll be able to get a first shot. You know, with it kind of caught, you know, unawares of your presence. So you'll roll 3d6 and add your dexterity bonus.
Let's see. +1.
Yeah.
8 total. Yeah.
An 8 total. Well, that just hits. All right. So the way a just hit works is that so when you're even with the DV, that means that you're going to do half damage with your hit. All right. Luckily, it's a small small thing. So you're still going to roll the d6, and you're going to add any dexterity bonus to it.
And she with her on the bow, it's a d6 plus 2, so it's d6 plus 3 total, basically.
Yeah.
3, 5 damage.
So a 5, so she did 2.5 points of damage. So she killed this squirrel.
Yay.
All right, so she has 1 arrow left, and she has another small game. Down. Arinda is out there hunting. She rolled an 11, so she has a track. And now she's going to try to stealth. And she did not make her stealth roll. So it's still initiative. Oh, wait, no, she has a plus. Stealth is dexterity. She has a plus 2. So that's, I just lost my math. It's 7 plus, oh, it's 9. So she didn't make her stealth. So she still didn't make her stealth. So now it's initiative. All right. She's red. The deer is, all right, at least you made her initiative. All right. She's going for a deer. And she's going to get the first shot off. But it is not surprised, so she's not going to get the bonus. She rolled a total of a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She missed with her first shot. So she missed. And the deer is going to run off. All right, last round, or last shot. You both have 1 arrow left, by the way. So this is the last go around. So you're going to roll 3d6.
Foraging.
Yeah, this is foraging.
Okay.
12.
Minus 2, 10.
10.
All right, so a 10. So you have your choice, medium or small. You have 1 arrow left.
I'll go small.
Yeah.
All right.
Arrows, I'd say go for a deer.
Yeah, go for an easier kill. So now you're going to roll for stealth. You add your dexterity bonus.
Plus 1. And 10.
10.
A 10? All right. So you have stealthed your way onto, you spot in a small clearing you spot a rabbit pop its head up, from some of the tall grass. And so now you're kind of like semi behind a tree, and you have a pretty clean shot at it. So you can fire your last arrow.
Oh, shoot. That was a 6. Is it?
So 12, 16. Does she get a dexterity bonus on that?
Yeah.
17.
All right.
So pretty sure that is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good hit, and that's going to kill the rabbit.
You didn't even have to roll damage.
Yeah, you don't have to roll damage. Because, you can if you want to, but it's
You can roll damage if you want, but it's going to be hard.
the quality of your hit is more hit points than the rabbit even has. So it's an automatic kill.
Yeah,
all right, and now Arinda is going to do her foraging check, and she rolled a 10, so she can go for either small or medium. She is going for a small, and she definitely made her stealth check, and her shot. Oh my God, she rolled terrible. She actually rolled. She rolled a 6. She needed an 8. She has a +2 with a bow. So she just barely hit it. It all comes down to damage. Anything but a 1. She should... actually, she needs 3 points of damage. She has a +2. She needs to roll. She only rolled a 3. That's 1.5 +2. That's 3.5. That's what she killed a rabbit. So she killed a rabbit with her last shot. All right. So now the 2 girls have been hunting, pretty much all afternoon, and into the early evening. And so now you all head back into camp, and the tally is that so Luna killed 3 small animals with her 5 arrows, and Arinda killed a deer and 2 small animals. So in the calculation, basically Arinda won that particular challenge.
But they both succeeded.
Oh yeah, they both succeeded. They both hunted effectively and came back with 3 out of 5, 3 kills on 5 arrows, which is pretty good. So that's so right now, just so you know, if you're, in case you're Tyrannus is actually keeping track. So the first challenge was Arinda. Second challenge was Luna. Third challenge was Luna, and fourth challenge was Arinda. So right now they're tied. Okay, so having spent the greater part of the day hunting, you make your way to your camp with your trophies. Once you arrive, you notice that, once you arrive, you notice, well, actually, that doesn't apply because you're all together. All right, so so right now, the winner of this challenge, Tyrannus, when you double check and you look over and you see the kills, you announce that Arinda has won this particular challenge. So now you're sitting back, you're all relaxing, you're eating your kills, and talking about your you're talking about your things, because you weren't like fully aware of exactly how everybody was going and what decisions they made, so you're kind of sharing notes per se on what techniques you both used. Both of you had excellent shots, at least one exceptional shot on your targets. So that's something that you're both talking about the most about, is that that nice clean kill that you got. So so having spent much of the previous night retelling your stories of the days of hunting, you eventually retired. You go to sleep over the night. You spend some time like exchanging watches, watch time, as far as staying up for a little bit and rotating it out, and that's something that it's something that you do just a little bit. It's generally not what tribeswomen are generally not that far away from the village in order to they're not going on long expeditions or foraging trips or anything like that. So rotating guard duty is not typically something that you would do, but being that this is your first experience, that's something that Tyrannus would tell you to do, is to rotate it out just to get accustomed to it. So the next day, all right, so today is the way of the tribe, and you must work together, as a as a group or as a team now. And you are going to go after a greater challenge. Now, Tyrannus already knows not to take you bear hunting like like the men of the group when he went on his thing, because you remember when he had gone out, and he was with a group of five young boys going out on their expedition along with 3 guides, so there was more than enough if things got really bad, to take down a bear. You're not going for a bear, but what you are going to seek out is you're going to go after another animal that that tends to be somewhat of a problem. So you're actually going to hunt for a lynx.
That's actually in the monsters section.
Yeah.
Like enemies that you potentially.
Yeah. So you're gonna you're gonna hunt out for a lynx or some kind of a more aggressive animal, intentionally. So and Tyrannus is going to actually show you how you look for those particular signs. It's almost very similar to hunting for the hunting for the game animals, because they tend to work the same kind of trails that that game animals are on anyway. So so this is a little bit of a challenge as far as tracking is concerned, and foraging, foraging for it. So you're going to make your same your foraging checks.
This is a lynx, an animal that is under the enemies section of the book, something that can fight back. She uses her spear.
Oh
yeah, they can use, they're not limited to their bows now.
Yeah. She could use her bow if she wanted, but
oh yeah, she wants to. Yes,
yeah.
Actually, Arinda is going to continue using her bow because it's a she has a +2, so
you could use your other weapons just to get to.
Okay, so you all set?
Foraging check.
All right, so yeah, you're doing a foraging check, and she will as well. She actually didn't make one.
It's 12, a 10. So,
yes, that's good. So now you're going to try to track it down.
Oh, it's a tracking check.
And now you're going to do a, now you're going to actually try to track it.
Okay, and that'll be the same -2 difficulty. Handicap. Once again, she didn't do too bad. 9, 12, 10.
A 10? All right, good. All right. And actually she, she followed around as well. So Arinda also spotted the, you're both working together now. So, she's looking too, and she was like, she spots it, she rolled a 14 actually. So she spots it as well, but you both saw it and you both follow along. Now it's a stealth check, because as you're following this thing, you're trying to be as quiet as you can.
Now you actually get to have a bonus.
And this is a dexterity bonus, right?
Give her a 5 or 6.
oh no.
Oh well. 5,
So what's you?
9, 10.
Oh, a 10? All right. All right, that's good. And she actually did a little bit better. So you actually, have an advantage here. All right. Arinda's going to fire first. All right. So she spots it. She kind of holds up a hand, So you start approaching as well, but you have your spear ready, and she's already knocking an arrow, and she's going to fire first. And the reason why she fires first is because you have surprise on the animal, so you're going to have a bonus, for missile weapons against it. That's first of all, but second of all, regardless of what you're rolling for initiative, a bow is always going to go before a spear, even though a spear has a pretty decent advantage over any other kind of melee weapon. So the bow is going to go first. And she rolled a 15.
And from a storytelling perspective, if she can read it from afar, then that makes it safer for her if it goes to attack it, if it's already
yeah. So she
the person that shot it.
So she rolled a 15.
Damn it.
That's a plus. That's 5 higher than so it's a good hit. So she's going to get a +2 plus her dexterity of +2. And she rolled a 5. That's a 9 points of damage. And she did 8 points of damage. It is still alive, although it's, it is hit fairly well. Let me see where she hit it. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, she practically killed it with one shot. Where's my D10? I didn't take out the D10. Let's see where she hit it.
That kills.
She hit it in a torso, and you actually see the thing, it does like that like kind of cat-like jump, it jumps like kind of like straight up with the arrow just like lodged right into it. And it doesn't come down directly on its feet, but it's definitely like hanging by a thread. So you could, with your because the fact that you have initiative, you could get within spear throwing range during this time, before the cat can actually react any further, and you could actually throw your spear. So you could start charging because you saw that arrow hit it, and you kind of know it's either going to run or it could come at you, but your fear is that it might just turn and run. And so your action is, so she can move forward and try to throw the spear in order to get it before it runs.
Or she can go.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You can throw it or you can go up and.
Okay, I'll approach it, I suppose. Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna try
that thing.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so you're gonna try to cover the ground, to get to it, and we'll roll initiative. Now it's wounded, so you should be able to beat its initiative.
So this with a +1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
2.
Shit.
All right. That's probably all you really needed, because you have a plus. It was a 2 total.
Yeah.
All right. So you're actually at even initiative. So you're both going to go at the same time. So just as you approach it, that's where it was getting to run. So it's going to, it realizes that you're right on top of it. So it's going to attack you. You're going to attack it. It is heavily wounded, so it is at minuses to hit you. What is your so this is the first time you're actually getting attacked. So what is your what is your damage? I'm going to say it wrong. Your DVME.
16.
Is it 16? Oh crap!
Yeah, that's what I told you. Her stats are crazy.
Jeez. So it needs to roll a 16 unmodified just to hit you. And it did not.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna go at it. All right, and
You hit roll.
yeah, it is heavily wounded, so so you're gonna have bonuses to hit as well. So now you're doing a spear attack, and your actually spears have an initiative bonus anyway, so she didn't actually roll a 2. But we'll just say
initiative.
to say okay, yeah. So so she's attacking now. So you get
she has a +2 to strength as well.
to hit, yes.
Yes, so that's going to add to her hit roll.
Mm-hmm.
11, 13 total.
13.
Okay. So it's defensive. So it's DVME was a. So it's really a +2. So it's you really rolled an 11. All right. So you hit it. And let's see. That's a good hit. So it's going to be +1 to damage.
So +2 totals. It's a D8 +1, and then the bonus that he.
So +3 total. D8 +3.
Oh, +3. Okay.
Well, the spear has a D8 +1, right?
Yeah.
And then, oh, she does. Oh, so it's +2 total. You're right.
Yeah.
So D8 +2.
Oh no. You see it?
Oh,
hold on. You do that again.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Hold on. That was a party fail. 8.
Oh wow.
2, 10.
All right. So yeah. So you definitely. Let's see where you hit this thing.
You heard it bad.
Yeah, you heard it pretty bad, and that's the one thing I have to keep my other chart here.
Once again,
put that with each of my things.
Oh.
That's actually you probably caught it in the hindquarters, so it counts as like a leg hit, but it's more like the hip, and you kind of like transfix it right in through. You drive your spear right through one side of its hip and through the other, and you kind of pin it to the ground, and it's dead. I mean, it dies, pretty quickly. I mean, the arrow was almost its finisher. Yeah, it was already bleeding out. It wasn't going to last very long, and you pretty much impaled it and wedged it to the ground. So good, good clean kill. At least you both got a chance at killing this thing.
You got
and yeah,
arrow and her spear.
Yeah. So that's a greater part of the hunting. Let's see. Let's get you to this. All right, so you start heading back. All right, so neither of you were injured, so you don't need to do any healing. Nobody died, so the return to the base camp seemed to take a longer time to get back. you had a lot of adrenaline pumping and everything because you knew you were going after something that was potentially a dangerous creature, and now you're packing everything up, and the last part of your test is that you have to go to the it's the Dolmen of Tamara, and you're going to make a world lore check to see what the if you know what that really refers to.
So you don't have to deal with that.
World lore is intelligence
handicap.
intelligence roll. So, and no handicap because she trained that, correct? So.
Yeah.
A 10?
Yeah.
All right. So world lore 10. She needed a 2. 2. I mean, she needed an 8, so she was plus 2 higher. I don't know if that's going to give her a bonus. So let's see. Nope, it's a regular hit. So so let's see. All right. So at the Dolmen of Tamara. So the Dolmen of Tamara. So just so you know, dolmens are burial sites, and they're sacred to people that live under the their traditional life stance, and they tend to be prominent prominent individuals in the tribal history, and this particular one, Tamara, is actually reputed to be the first sorceress in your tribe, and this goes back hundreds of years, that it was when she had lived. And so the Dolmen of Tamara is actually probably the most important dolmen in your particular tribe's history. And so that's why all of these the tradition, the rites of passage are finished off by bringing a sacrifice to that dolmen. And the sacrifice is to be the the animals that you killed on this, including the more aggressive animals. So you're actually going to bring the carcass of the lynx to the dolmen, along with the mistletoe, which was part of the ceremony requirement that you both eventually gathered. And when you get there, you're going to go through and be met with the tribal leader, at the dolmen. And so he is going to do the ceremony, and which he does the ceremony, and you both place your kill there, along with the mistletoe that you had both eventually gathered. And now it's time to kind of evaluate the overall aspect of it. And I mean, bottom line, it was basically a a tie. I mean, the damage that you had done was, what was that last damage roll she did on the lynx?
Oh,
she rolled an 8, right?
Yeah.
She rolled an 8. It was a 10.
Yeah.
So, which was actually a 9. She actually did one more point even though it was like she did one more point because it had 9 hit points, and with its toughness, the arrow damage was 9 minus the 1, so it did 8 points of damage. She actually did 9 points of damage. So that's the one, that's really the one edge that she, that you got over it. I mean, Arinda clearly won the hunting match. All right. But I mean, it's a darn close tie.
Yeah.
It's a very, very close tie. So let's see how we can settle it. What was your character's social class that she was born into?
A freeborn.
She was freeborn. So let's see. We roll that, correct? Where do we roll that? That's going to be the deciding factor, believe it or not. is because it really was a tie. How do you determine social class? I'm trying to remember that now. Very strict rules. How do you roll it? Where do you roll it?
I think I just simplicity. I don't think
you pick it. You roll it, right?
I've had some DMs do. I've had another DM did it the other way just for simplicity. That was back when I was a big beginner.
Had you roll it, right? Or you just chose it?
Go ahead and choose it because.
All right. Let's see.
Simplicity.
All right. We're going to.
In this one, you can see how it kind of goes into the ground a bit. Yeah, there's another one. How it goes.
What's your here? You know what we're going to have you do? We're going to have you make a social check. I'll have you both make social checks.
That'd be correct.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Charisma. So
it goes down.
Now let's see. I don't think she has a charisma bonus. I doubt it. Let's see. Charisma, a 10. No, so no bonus here.
Was she supposed to roll charisma?
Yeah, you're going to just make a charisma check.
Yeah. She has a +1. I'm pretty sure she nailed that. Yeah.
What'd you get? What'd you roll? A what?
12 total.
12 total? Yeah, she won the roll. She run actually she rolled a 12 even. Jesus Christ. All right, do it again. So yeah, she doesn't have a plus. So you have to get this roll.
Okay.
Try again. So you're both kind of arguing. You're like not arguing with each other. You're kind of pointing, but I did this and I did this and blah blah blah. You did better on the horse.
Yes,
better.
So 10 total.
10 total. All right. She actually rolled a 7, so you actually beat her out. All right. So tight argument, and you're going back and forth, and you beat her out with a 10 versus a 7.
I guess she could have said it could have come and attacked you with its dying breath and killed you had I not speared it.
Yeah, well, no, it's just that you clearly did more damage than she did. You did better on the horseback riding, and she did better on the hunting, and that was the one thing that was really made it a tough decision to do. Because hunting and riding are equal in the view. So you did better on the foraging. you know, so you won that round, you know, as well. So I think overall, survival wise, you were probably a little bit more well rounded and effective, you know. So and then you rolled better at the end, so you had the luck involved with it as well. So the winner receives a black quartz pendant carved in the shape of a wolf's head. This bestows upon the wearer a +1 to your stealth checks. So you can actually, you know, write this down on your character sheet that you have a 6-carat black quartz pendant that gives a +1 to stealth. Yeah, these aren't actually like magic items. What these is that certain materials in Thule have bonuses based on their quality or their you know, the material that they're made from, and you know, certain natural, you know, items, you know, natural stone usually bestow kind of a, you know, that very traditional folklorish kind of, you know, pluses to it, you know, kind of like what we have for like birthstones or and everything. I put, you know, the whole idea of birthstones goes all the way back to, you know, those ancient times anyway. So that's basically how it's worked into the game. So that's the end of the adventure. And the way the experience points works is that you get 150 points per session. All right. So that was the. Now we did close to 3 hours almost, actually. So we'll say that was, you know, so that's, so per section, actually there's 3 sections in this that you actually did. So that's 450. Then the skills.
Is that 450 in addition to the 150?
No, that's the 450. So that's 150 per section. She did all 3 sections actually.
Right.
She did the, you know, so that's 450 there. Skill wise,
I'm doing this on here, and then when we get a pencil, we'll write it on, but I'm making notes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll say she got she did about 20 successful skill rolls. All right, so those would be that would be another 400 points there. So that's total of 850. 9 for the role playing, 900, 1300 total. 400 for completing the she won, so 1300 total.
So 450, 400, so that's 850, and then 50.
900 for the role playing, and then another 400, so 1300 total. So 1300 XP.
What was the 400 was for winning?
For winning, yes. Yeah, the 400 was for completion and winning, yes. So experience points wise, if you go to,
that'll be what is it?
Page 20.
250 times 250 times 2, I think.
Yeah, so just so you explain, like, so you understand with experience points, so when you're spending experience points, why don't they have that right here too? It's certain things. Yeah, it's in here someplace. But anyway, generally speaking, I mean, if you're buying a new skill, new skills, I think were like 400 to bring it from 0 to 1. and then it compounds after that. Costs 800 to go from 1 to 2, and so on. So so you certainly have enough to spend. And once I find everything, find the details, we can expand. Let's see. A character start playing experience points with a level 1. Each time they participate, they sum up and give in, blah, blah, blah. So they need to gain a new skill level. So a new skill level is, it's actually 250. So it's level times level. So 1 times 1 times 250. So it costs 250 to buy the first, a new level of a skill.
So
for every new level gained, the player character can gain a training in a skill he or she is untrained. So
and then there's something else they can do at every even level.
Yeah, that's at actual levels. Yeah. So she doesn't she'll gain, hit points, and she'll gain other, magic points if she were a magic user. Her actual character levels, though, she needs more experience than just 1300. I don't believe she leveled up yet. Certainly another adventure. I have to look it up. But what we'll do is we'll calculate this out and see for the next time. So her character now is up to the same point that you and Joshua's characters have left off at.
Alex, if you can ever.
Or Alex, yeah, and Alex as well. So what do you think so far? I mean, as far as the game mechanics are concerned, since you've never played before.
No, it's actually my first time to ever play any kind of game like this, and I thought it was really fun, actually. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was just, I liked it a lot. I liked the whole story and everything.
Yeah, hopefully, the first time you're playing it, it's kind of hard, it's kind of hard to, I don't want you to get too bogged down with the actual game mechanics and everything. There's a lot of mechanics we actually didn't use, like we didn't do bleeding or shock or stun or anything like that. That's the thing about this game, is that you can, and they recommend that you trim out as much as you possibly can. Once you get more used to it and everything, then, and I do some different house rules for, shock and bleed. I don't do it every time you hit. I do it when you get those exceptional hits. And the same thing coming back at you. So if it ever did hit you with an exceptional hit, that's when it would roll for shock and bleed. You would have actually gotten at least one shock and bleed attack, or potential during the combat. But like I said, I didn't want to,
right.
I don't want to bog things down. Yeah. I've actually played. I played one where just one combat took over an hour just to handle one combat sequence.
Oh, wow.
So that's a possibility. So, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully this thing recorded right, which is always a freaking scary thing with doing this. I know it's saying that it's broadcasting, it's broadcasting live, and then we'll see how it uploads. So
look this up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to put this up on the YouTube channel, so it'll be up on the YouTube channel and up on the other things. So, on the Facebook page. So, well, I thank you and welcome for joining. And, it was great having the both of you play. And, it's been a while since we've actually run a MYFAROG adventure. And it's always good to go back to the adventures that we've done before, because we learn some things along the way and tweak them anyway. So, and I'll see. It's going to be at least 2 weeks. I'm going on vacation next week, so it'll be at least 2 weeks before we get back to playing. And I plan on having that second adventure done. Probably by the time I get back, that should be possible. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for joining in. It was great having you here, and look forward to playing with you guys again. Hopefully we get some more people, the rest of the crew ready for the second grouping. I'll at least be able to advertise the next adventure. We might actually have some new people come in. I know one other person says that he has the game, but he's never played it before. So I'm going to try to invite him in for the next round, and he can, be some other character from the same tribe and same old thing, and you guys can work together and, go forward from there.
Also, there is an expansion pack to this game that deals with the same general setting, but in sort of modern times with a sort of what Varg would call a global shit has hit the fan.
It's a post-apocalyptic.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So it introduces firearms, post-traumatic stress.
No way.
I can get into that.
And we both bought that.
Character flaws, and it can get much more detailed. So that's the one thing we avoided was a lot of that detail. But now that you've at least experienced it, and so we'll slowly work those other things in, and the next adventure, you'll see how the next adventure kind of builds off of this one, because that's what campaigns are. It's a series of adventures that kind of build off a storyline. So this is technically my second campaign with MYFAROG. My other campaign was a series of 4 adventures. So this one I was planning on, probably doing 3 or 4 adventures attached to this particular storyline. So, and with the summer ahead of us, so we should be able to actually finish up this campaign, over the month of August without a problem.
And this was good because otherwise, originally, she would have been coming in on the second chapter of this, and she wouldn't have had the perspective of, it was better to rerun this this first campaign.
So anybody new coming in will be on that second run, but that's just the way it's going to work out better. And I knew there was only going to be 2 of you, so it's a lot easier to just do that initial adventure, instead of trying to get just 2 players to start off a whole new adventure anyway.
It's just been you and me, so
so
3 and 2 players is
yeah.
I guess her brother might play.
Well, good. So, well, again, thanks for joining in. I'm gonna shut this this broadcast down and take a look and see how long it's going to take to, it does take a long time to download or upload, however you say it. So it'll be ready by tomorrow morning. That's not a problem. All right. Yep. You all have a good night, and look forward to playing with you guys in the next. I'm home all next week anyway, but I'm working Monday through Thursday, so we'll see. Maybe we can get another game session in. I'm not sure.
All right, I'll hit you up.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Okay.